Considered as a milestone in Japanese animation, Akira has achieved cult status today and is regarded as one of the best and most beautiful animated films ever made. Based on the manga that was also written and drawn by the director Katsuhiro Otomo, the film follows a bike gang in Neo-Tokyo in the year 2019, decades after World War III. It centers on two of its members, Kaneda, the leader, and Tetsuo, a younger member who feels that he is trapped under Kaneda's shadow and wants nothing more than to prove that he can take care of himself. But when he gets seriously injured during a street battle, he is taken away to a government facility where he is tested and develop hidden powers deep within him. But his powers continue to grow out of control that the government and the military cannot contain it, and discovers Neo-Tokyo's little secret in that they were testing psychic powers in order to discover the origins of the universe. This film delves into plenty of discussion that involves science, ethics, government, and human nature as we go through Tetsuo's journey from an ordinary kid to a power-hungry monster hell-bent on destruction as he goes off to face against Akira, the one who had as much power as Tetsuo that triggered the devastation of the original Tokyo. The characters are numerous that adds needed depth to the story that includes Kei, a young woman that Kaneda met who is part of a group dedicated to stopping the experiments conducted by the government, Colonel Shikishima who runs the facility and the city's military operations who is stuck between political agendas and his duty to protect Neo-Tokyo at all costs, and the three children who had developed strong psychic powers. As much as I do enjoy watching them and I feel that they are enjoyable enough to watch, there's still this part of me that feels like there isn't really enough for me to care as much. It does feel like there is more to them in the relationship they have with each other, like that between Kaneda and Kei, but there isn't really a connection that I feel I could grab onto and just watch as they develop them, which isn't a lot of. From what I understand, the manga does go into much more depth with the characters and its themes than what the movie has done, so they probably had understandably cut things out in order to make it a tight enough film that isn't confusing or draining, but still leave in enough to engage a discussion. And given that this is an animated film, there was a budget to consider and anime wasn't as popular at the time of its release, much less animated films in general, so it was a risky film to produce. And this film broke away from the usual practice that anime was made that had cut budgets and made the end product look cheap, so they still went out with this film regardless. And speaking in terms of the animation, I wholeheartedly agree with the consensus on it. It is so grand looking with its vision and size, bringing a city to life like it did only to destroy it just as much on an epic scale. And it's not just that. The details are minute, giving a feel of realism that makes it easy for me to give it the benefit of the doubt in terms of the science behind it, and the imagination is on a Miyazaki level as well as exceeding in terms of his audacity with his imagery. It is beautiful to behold and haunting that does have its fair share of graphic violence, but not as much as one would think a film like this would have. This showed that the people behind it had the patience to make this movie as good as it should be, and it is amazing and awe-inspiring to watch just by the imagery alone. However, as a film that I could love, I'm afraid to say that this almost made it, but not quite. There is still something in the story and characters that felt missing to me that kept me from loving it as much as I believe I should. It's perfectly fine as it is, but if there is more to it in the manga, I might just save up some money so I can purchase it in the future if it doesn't go out of print anytime soon. But I will say that the animation itself does make up for what it felt lacking to me, that I can say that I do enjoy watching it and don't mind going back to it every once in a while. It keeps my attention with its themes and discussions that I think are worthwhile to have and is interesting enough to keep me entertained from beginning to end and to just let me enjoy the whole ride.